Welcome back, you guys. I'm here joined in the interview lounge by Johannes and Harry with the player managers, respectively, for Team Alternate and for Team Fnatic. Now, first up, Johannes, your team is about to get into the match. What do you think of their performance over the last 2 days?
Yeah, well, obviously we didn't do that good against Gambit. I mean, we're struggling right hard against them because, yeah, well, in both games, Diamond Prox just did an amazing performance, and yeah, well, we are slacking against them, obviously.
Did you just watch the game versus Lemon Dogs? What do you think it is that you weren't able to beat them, and then Lemon Dogs just come out and rush over them?
Yeah, actually, I saw it, but it was that fast that I just couldn't see all the things, so I will watch the replay, definitely.
All right, now, of course, the teams are up against each other. Harry, how do you think this one will play out? But Fnatic is certainly on a roll.
It's hard to say. Obviously, we're hoping for a 3-0 this weekend. I think both teams have the possibility to win, and it just depends on who plays better at the end of the day, so we'll have to see.
Right, now, of course, you had that roster change. We talked a lot about that yesterday, so I want to spin this to you guys. We have the teams like SK and EG who are at the bottom of the table, and it's kind of the question of, there are teams that were doing bad that changed up their roster and are doing better. Do you think that is something that they should consider, or is it just the right strategy to keep sticking with your team?
I think player changes are completely valid and always do a good thing for teams, most of the time at least. Teams like EG, who have been together since they formed, I think right now they could have a change if they wanted to, and it could very well benefit them pretty hugely. But it's really up to them if they want to do it or not. It's really hard to say because it's up to them whether they think it's good enough. It's a good idea to do so. Yeah, it's really hard to answer that because for us it's been really good, but we had problems in the team which wasn't so much in-game. For them, I'm not sure how it is. So we'd really have to see if it would work for them if they went for it.
All right, and now for you, of course, the team as it is performing very well, and yesterday, although Aranea said it was my fault, you do immediately see the difference without Pharrell and Lord. So do you think that this is the team you're going to have to stick with?
Yeah, well, we are not...
Going to have to seem sort of negative.
Well, we are not thinking about doing any changes. I mean, it would be like, everybody would be surprised if Carl not playing would take no effect on the team. So it's obvious that we have not that good team play. Like, we have to focus more on fights. It's even important that Arani does good calls, like to keep Matty focused. I mean, he had a hard game versus Gambit. It was his first game. He was nervous, but I think in the second game he did pretty good, and I hope that he will do pretty good now.
Okay, Harry, talking about some of the old school teams, why do you think it is that Gambit, although they suffered a loss here, and you guys are able to transcend better into this season than EG and SK, for example?
That's a tricky one. We've struggled to do so as well. I think players like Peke and Soaz are a lot more versatile than EG's players. They can adapt a lot more quick and learn new champions and really get to grips with the new meta quicker than players in EG or SK.
All right. Okay, guys, you're up against each other. What do you think will happen?
I think we're going to win.
What is going to be the deciding factor? What's going to be the deciding factor?
I think it's going to be on the bot lane because I think they're going to try and focus on our weakness, which looks to be bot lane right now. But I think they're going to be in for a surprise because we're not as weak as people might think we are on the bot lane.
I think like all the games showed that mid lane is very, very important. Now my phone's ringing, so sorry for that.
No problem. Okay, good luck to the both of you, and thank you very much for the interview. Now time to move on to the next match with Joe and D-Man.
Thanks a lot, Shocks. And our fourth match, of course, is Fnatic versus Alternate. And this was a fairly action-packed affair in Moscow. And I say fairly in the, the loosest terms. It was mental.
It was mental. It was definitely a hard one to keep up with at times. Kills, towers falling all over the map at the same time. And let's hope today is the same, because we just had a stonker of a game.
Well, we didn't really know what just happened to us, so it'd be nice to catch
Bit
up
of
maybe,
roadkill, I think it was.
with the next one. So before we actually kick things off, let's break down the two teams, starting off with Fnatic on the blue side. They are, of course, Soaz in the top lane, Cyanide in the jungle, Xpeke in the mid lane, Pushu the AD carry, and Yellow Star the support.
And, of course, it's going to be Kerp in the top lane with his little thummy trackball going on when nobody really knows what's happening there, but he plays very well with it nevertheless. Aranea in the jungle, White Knight the support is the top lane. Technically, well, he could be support. He is in the mid lane. We're not going to bother look at the support because AD carry was, of course, Kraton, and Jerry is the support. But you guys all knew that anyway.
We all knew it.
Yeah.
Who are we kidding? And don't forget, you guys can actually still vote for who you think win this game and the next. If you head over to lolesports.com, just click on the matches button and vote away. So what are the numbers looking like for this one, G?
Well, they got it completely wrong in the last game, didn't they? That's twice now Lemon Dogs have been at 90+% against them, and they've just smashed it. Vote, of course, between Fnatic and Alternate. This time around, it's 50-50. It's very much even between them, so maybe they're going to be right. But someone's going to win.
Half of you probably.
Half of you guys are right at home, and half of you guys are completely wrong.
Yeah, half and half. It doesn't get any closer than that. Not sure where I'm going to go with that one. I mean, obviously, this is a top-tier game, Fnatic versus Alternate. I mean, for me, if I was to put odds on it like that, I'd probably end up going 50-50 because Fnatic have looked very good with that roster.
You only need to look at the match that happened in Russia and just think, it could have gone anyway, to be honest. So 50-50 is about right.
So Alternate only had that one game yesterday, of course, but it was a loss, and a heavy loss to Gambit. Earlier today, of course, they did manage to get back on track, though, with a victory against Ninjas in Pyjamas. Fnatic, though, on the other hand, they are back to winning ways after that roster change, taking 2 wins so far this week.
Yeah, the pressure's starting to build in the standings, and we've just seen, obviously, the fact that Gambit went down there as well. Everybody is beating one another. The mad scramble to stay at the top is starting to get tough for everyone. The fact that SK Gaming are down the bottom, EG, it was effectively a battle for last place, and this was the players that said it themselves to me as they were setting up EG SK, battle for Blot's last place. Who would have thought we'd been saying that last spring split? But it is those teams that are down there, and that shows the pressure across the board. The fact that we've had 4 roster changes so far as well in the European LCS just shows that the tension is really building. Pressure on that man right there on your screen, White Knight. He is really up against it. Had a horrible match yesterday against Alex Gis, but recovered very well today, and obviously helped to win the first match of the day.
Yeah, we just heard from the management there from Alternate that it's obvious that that is the weak point in the team right now, that everything slips when you have a substitute. The communication, the teamwork, all that synergy that you've worked so hard to actually get going, he's just literally gone from that. So it's going to be important for Aranea to make sure that the calls are right, that everyone's following the calls. Cyanide gives us a cheeky little peek into the camera there. But the same from Fnatic's side of things. They're effectively a new team here again, a complete change when it comes to that bottom lane, with Yellow Star now moving to support. He's still managing to secure a few kills along the way, still thinking he's the AD carry and should be getting fed them all. But as long as they're getting kills, the rest of his team will be happy.
Yeah, and obviously Pekka, yesterday we saw on Kassadin, I think he went 10-1-9 or something like that. He absolutely dominated on Kassadin. And no matter what champion he ends up on, he usually does pretty damn well, apart from Orianna. Actually doesn't have very good stats on Orianna at all. Jerry there, the support. You didn't quite catch a glimpse of him in the roster lineup, but Kraton alongside him. That has been a very, very strong partnership so far in the early start of this season. Kraton has been one of the top KDA guys pretty much from word go at DreamHack. He was absolutely demolishing, and I think if I recall going into Moscow, he was at 28.7 KDA or something like that. That's insane.
Yeah, we'll see if he can continue that here as well, as the band's already coming thick and fast. Lee Sin, Lissandra, and Thresh banned out here by Fnatic. Orianna taken away from Xpeke, although he's played 4 games with Orianna, only won 1 of them, so not the best of odds there. Twisted Fate taken away because he's Twisted Fate and is an annoyance, and Jace as well, who is pretty much, if he's not banned, then he'll get in the picks anyway.
And the Elise pick coming straight away as well. Been allowed through, give it to Soaz. Thank you very much, job done. I think it may as well just lock it in, Soaz. You know you want him. You know you want him. We've just seen it absolutely mashing Diamond, Prox, and everybody else, honestly, not just Diamond. The whole of Gambit were just mashed by that Elise. His cocoons were landing perfectly, sinking the fangs in, got the first blood on Alex Hitch in the mid lane as well. So I would not be surprised to see that as the first pick. And what else would you go for? Shen? No, I think it's going to be Elise. No, got through, of course. That's the first time we've seen him in the summer, isn't it?
Well, it's because he's been banned every other game.
I'm going to check this one.
No, I think we did see him get through once. I believe it was Alternate Fnatic.
Yes, it was. Their first game, Alternate's first match. And they were like, you got to ban him every time because they can't let that through.
Yeah, Cyanide actually played him against
look at that.
Yeah, but that's the problem that you have then. You've got the Spider in the jungle for RNA, which I'm reliably told actually means Spider.
RNA does, yeah, it does.
So
it's
that's kind of fitting.
For it, I think it is Latin for it. Or Greek, I can't remember if it's Latin.
We're English.
Actually,
We
Greek
don't
is
do other
Latin. What am I on about? Oh,
We're English. We don't do other languages very good. Or English, as I say. We don't know the languages very good.
So
Very well
the
done.
thing is, I mean, this is the classic bans and picks. So you're banning target champions against people, but you're allowing OP champions through, which is what Alternate allowed there. And they were like, you're going to have one of these. So, I mean, really, is it better to have a Nunu Caitlyn, which they're going with, which is a strong lane, or tell a lie that's going to be Nunu jungle, of course. Why am I thinking anything else? Because Nunu in the jungle right now, 3.8 is very, very strong. But Alternate, obviously getting Kerp on Shen. Kerp's going to be like, oh, God, again? But then again, he did play a different champion yesterday. I think he got on Vlad, and he lost. So they're like, back on Kerp, get back on Shen.
And we covered that yesterday. He doesn't really like playing Shen.
He hates it.
But he's very good at Shen.
Yes.
And so you've got to kind of balance it up with, we don't care if you're having fun, we've got to win. Basically, is what it comes
But there's
down
also,
to.
I mean, Alternate strategy is play champions you have fun on. He's not having fun, but he's still doing well. How can you not have fun when you're absolutely unstoppable? I don't know. I think that's fun in itself.
I think so as well. Winning is pretty much the most fun thing you can find. So, I don't know. We'll have to see about that. Nami and the Ezreal. So, Creaton once again with the Ezreal. He was incredible on him already earlier today. Nami, of course, Jerry, without that Thresh in there, he likes to play a bit of Nami. Also seen him coming out with some Fiddlesticks as well, but Nami is, this time around, what Fnatic going to go for now? Obviously, the mid laner for Alternate is still not sure. Obviously, that Elise at the end of the day could end up going into the mid lane or into the top lane with Shen into the jungle. Who quite knows what, they're kind of interchangeable, those two. So Fnatic are picking a little bit blindly for this one, and it's a case of what XPK is feeling is going to fit to that composition and where he's most comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just trying to wonder if this Zed, I mean, it could be Soaz or Peke there. That actually tells me that that's going to be Peke, I think, on Kennen. And I think that's actually going to be Soaz and Zed. Again, these two guys switch champions so often. We know that Soaz can play pretty much anything. The same could be said for Peke as well. Quinn being hovered over, that could be interesting. That, I mean, if that says a Szechuani, I'll tell a lie. Is that Szechuani? It's Quinn. It is Quinn. It is Quinn. Jesus Christ. This is just the start of the day, ladies and gentlemen. We're already halfway through.
He's got another 3 games to go.
This could be dangerous.
I'm nearly done. You could forgive me for doing that. But yeah, I mean...
It's the hats. They're confusing me now. The new artwork for Szechuani.
We've got no chance if we can't even tell the champion by its portrait. But this Quinn, Kerp actually does play Quinn, but they've got Shen in there already, which tells me that it would probably end up going into the middle with White. Now, we've seen Quinn in the middle already. That was last week when Spontex played it for Gambit. It wasn't very successful. They lost that game, of course, as they did
Didn't fit
both
the team
games.
comp and any team comp at all. Unless it is going to be Kerp and RNA going to go suddenly on Shen in the jungle, but that is going to get locked in. It's going to be staying. So where the hell is Quinn going to go? We'll see when the swaps start happening. But that is a strong AD push line that they've suddenly got now, obviously with Quinn. Looking like it may be White Knight in that mid lane, playing him so far. Aranea has played Elise before in the jungle, so no surprise that that's going to stay there. It does look like so far we're seeing where Zed and Kennen are going to line up. At the moment, it's Peke that's actually sat on Zed. And if you remember, last time these two played these two champions, I think they were the other way around. They still were basically gank buddies. They were sitting in the split lanes and just hiding in the bushes and jumping out and absolutely massacring anyone that came near them.
Yeah, I think that's where Quinn, one of her two real strengths is that kind of just hanging on to a champion and sticking to him, but also split pushing. Quinn is very strong at that, as is Shen, of course, so they've got two good options.
That's why it confuses me.
That.
That's why it confuses me, because every time we've seen Kerp on Shen, he has been the strong split pusher. Even in the 3v1 dive, he still managed to hang on in there and managing to get the wins and get the split push going. So with Quinn there, they're going to be split pushing 2 lanes against Fnatic. That's not going to work.
Now, this is a team that have relied and done so very well at when they actually played, that split pushing comp, and they've done it time and time again. So I'm really interested to see how this one all comes in. Something a little bit different here for Alternate. And it's funny that in 2 weeks you've seen 2 substitutes in 2 of the top teams in the league, and they've both brought Quinn to the table.
Something that they really want to bring to the LCS, it seems, but didn't work out for Gambit. Fnatic, of course, are 2-0. Can they go 3-0 with their new roster change? Has it been a completely successful lineup? Looks like it's having problems trying to fit everything onto the desk there. Pusho, are we going with Pushu? Or Pushu or Pusho?
So Pushu,
I think
for me,
it is.
it's a U afterwards. Pushu. We actually did ask this, but it's one of those things again that us English people, when it comes to putting an S and a Z together, it basically breaks our tongues.
To be fair, I asked Harry, who's another English person, so it's probably the wrong person to ask.
He told us Pushu.
I didn't really know what he was saying in the interview either, by the way. I don't think he did either.
I think he got a little bit lost in his thoughts sometimes around that. But I think his points were right in that some of these teams that have stayed together may or may not value a roster change, and that's the thing that you've always got to weigh up. Do you get rid of a long-standing member and try someone else at this stage of the season? Scary thought, really. But we are going to get into game then. Fnatic versus Alternate. White Knight, the substitute here for Alternate, going to be bringing Quinn to the table. Let's see if it's more successful than the Quinn that we saw last week being played by Spontex as he stepped in for Gambit whilst Darian was away.
Well, he didn't go for the ward there that got placed down, so it was a little slow to react there. They could have possibly got that, I'm not too sure. Jerry going to be warding out the bushes, so... And of course, don't forget this is Cyanide. Cyanide and Nunu. We saw Cyanide and Nunu before, and that was against Alternate, if you remember it, in Moscow. And he still had things stolen from him. He had 2 dragons stolen. He was Nunu. You can't get stuff stolen from you when you're on Nunu. But apparently it is possible. And it was even a piercing arrow, I think, that stole one of the dragons, if my memory serves correct, back in Moscow. If you've not seen that game, ladies and gentlemen, check it out on VOD. But not right now, because we've got 3 more games to go. We do see an invade, though, coming out from Alternate. Are they going to push straight in? Looks like Peke is off on the side, so Peke is going to be starting in the bottom lane, which means we're going to have a duo lane of Yellowstyle and Pusho in the mid.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a change-up of things, I think, for Fnatic. With this Quinn coming in, I think maybe have thrown a bit of a spanner into the works in terms of planning and how they were going to go down. One thing's for sure, though, you've got a Nunu. Going for an early invade is basically what you're going to do, because that consume at level 1 is redonkulously strong. There's a ward put down. Actually not going to spot anyone from Alternate in this. Okay, there's a ward on that top side as well, which I missed. So Fnatic know that Alternate have a 4-man team there sat ready and waiting for them. And Cyanide has started to back things away from that. They're still hiding in that bush off to the side, though, but I think they realize they don't want to overstay a welcome.
Yeah, they were sticking around a little bit longer. They thought about, have we got it? They were assessing the damage potential early on. It seems it wasn't going to work out. Creaton's on his own in the bottom lane, though, because, of course, we saw that J-Ree stuck around, or J-Ree, as he's currently known in the game for some reason. But he stuck around and helped out in that support in that jungle area, which means Creaton's going to be off on his own. A little bit scary at the moment, honestly, against the Zed, but Zed's not going to be too damaging. Creaton, though, Cyanide is going to get caught out. Flash out already used up there. Wasn't able to get that blue steal on just simply by a little bit of an interrupt from a support and AD carry.
Yeah, a little bit scary times there for Cyanide, having to make sure he gets away as White Knight just vaulted in there. We'll see how this all works out for them, having White Knight and J-Ree pairing up whilst you've got Creatine farming on his own in that bottom lane. We're going to have Aranea trying to make an impact here on towards these lanes as he gets himself that blue buff all sewn up. Top lane is the most normal of them all right now, funnily enough, with Shen versus Kennen.
So, I'm just looking around here. Cyanide's actually felt quite far behind already on Aranea because he's got that red and blue buff. He's already going in to see if he can get the steal. Blue buff's only just being picked up by Cyanide. Had to use his smite, so he can't even come in and try and smite steal this one away from Aranea. So Aranea is going for the steal right now. Has got his smite available in a couple of seconds. So Fnatic going to come in for this one. Aranea already realizing this is a little bit too dangerous play. He might be able to get the smite. And don't forget, he can repel. Has got flash available as well. There's going to repel. Gets across towards Yellowstar. Flashes into the pit. Beautifully done, but the rest of the team going to follow through. And that's a double buff for Pushu. But the Dragon actually starting up because the Aqua Prisoner was on Peke. So Peke is going to get low as well. We'll see how that works out, though. Pushu with the double in the mid now.
That's a really dangerous prospect here, losing those double buffs as Kerp in the top lane. Also taking a lot of hammer here from Soaz. Started off Doran's shielded Kerp, as we've seen him do before. Creatine here down in that bottom lane. Don't think he's in too much danger. I can't imagine that Peke, although he's got pots running, would end up really diving in on top of him with that. But yeah, just to mention that Shen again, starting off Doran's shield, maximum security really at that early level, but Kennen starting Doran's blade as well, and he's hard to deal with when he's got that extra damage for his auto attacks as well.
Yeah, we're going to keep our eye on how much farm keeps developing for Pusho in that mid lane. And honestly, Aranea, I mean, the fact that he did get the red, he did die, which was not great, but he did get all 3 buffs. And I don't think Cyanide got an assist. No, he didn't. So he's actually lost out in that. He is still a level behind, so we'll see how much of a damage that can happen on the jungle. We do see Aranea looking like he's going on towards an aggressive Soaz here. Kennen is going to have Flash and Ignite available. Kerb's starting to collapse in towards him. They're going to come around, uses the Spider to try and get vision of him. They have got Shadow Dash. They land the Shadow Dash. The Cocoon comes in. This should be a dead Soaz. I don't believe he's going to be able to get out of this one. He is going down. Who's going to pick up the kill? It's going to be Aranea.
Yeah, that Spider leg just extending out there to get the final hits. But look at this Fnatic with that double buff in the middle lane. Pushu able to spam those traps out to throw the Piltover Peacemakers constantly at those minion waves. There's been constant pressure then onto that turret, and they've managed to take it down very early here. They're 1-1 in kills. As you said, they did manage to get that double buff earlier on, which has hindered Aranea somewhat, but at the same time, he got those buffs in the first place anyway, and Cyanide can't, because of that, really afford to get in there, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he got the blue buff on, of course. He did also use the Blood Boil on Caitlyn. That's going to be something that will come into play later on. Cyanide now going to start moving in here. Going to try and use that Ice Blast. Going to consume, keep his health up high just as Soaz comes in. They should be able to save that turret, but it's taken a hell of a beat in there. And that's already down about 3rd health. So Kerb's going to go back and buy. Probably could even maybe get himself a Giant Spell. Yes, he can.
Yeah, Giant Spell, that's going to keep him a lot safer and alleviate some of that pressure that Soaz has been putting his way from this one. Peke doing a good job of farming up here as well. 38 CS to the 31 of Quinn if we're comparing, and Pushu, of course, already talked about that double buff from First Blood. He is up to 47 to the 36 that Ezreal's managed to get in that solo lane against what is effectively a melee champion. But Peke is going to go in onto Creatinea. Deathmark going to trigger, but not doing all that much damage.
No, he wasn't really up for that one. He realized that as soon as he went for it, it's like, oh, I'm not really doing as much as I should be here. But Creaton, despite the fact he is off on his own farming away, he's got to be very careful. And you can see, against Pushu, he's fell a long way behind in CS already. He's going to have Aranea coming down at the moment. They know that Peke's ultimate's down for a few seconds. It's a pretty quick cooldown, but by the time Aranea gets there, oh, there's already a ping on him. They've spotted him already, so he's not going to be able to catch out anything sneaky on Peke.
So there you see the difference already. Look at Kurt's health to that, Soaz manages to get a taunt underneath the tower to draw a couple of hits in there, and that makes it so much easier, that Giant Spell now for him to be farming. He's going to be farming underneath his turret the whole time. Question is here, can Aranea land a cocoon onto either of these two Fnatic men that are kind of coming in and kind of scared because they know that he's there. They walk straight over the top of a ward. And
aggressive stuff from Pushu, going straight for that BF sword, trying to get around that mid lane, mid-game slow poker for Caitlyn will receive. But of course, the fact that Cyanide is there on Nunu, I was about to say Soaz, because he has played it before in that top lane, remember?
Just as wicked.
Yeah, just as wicked. The fact that he has got that Blood Boil is going to help out that mid lane, mid-game disadvantage that he's going to have, and they're going to really be tower pushing heroes right now. Ooh, thought about going for the Shadow Dash across him, could have taunted him up, but I don't think really got the damage to back that up. Jerry's got next to no mana, and that turret is already nearly down.
Look at Aranea. He's still there in the bottom lane. He's been so patient right now. It's unbelievable.
He is a spider.
He is a spider. He's just going to sit there and, you know, just scare you slowly for a while as you wonder if he's going to drop off your ceiling and start terrorizing you. That's what spiders do best. But Cyanide is still hanging around in that lane. There we go. Ooh. Finally he comes out and Cocoon will miss. He went in with a True Shot Barrage straight after that. Might be enough to force Xpeke out of lane, though.
Yeah, but that's delayed him a long time. Cyanide's still not gained the experience on him just yet, but that's delayed him for a very, very long time in the jungle. And you can see everything is respawned completely across the jungle. I expect him to be actually keeping the blue buff, though. I'm not too sure whether he's going to give that across to White Knight. He's still sticking around. He's persistent.
He is persistent, and before he was at least stood in the experience range, which, you know, because Cyanide was bottom lane anyway, it's kind of a trade-off. Neither of them are getting massive farm or anything from that jungle, so no, that was the trade-off that he was willing to make, but since Cyanide has backed off, he's going to do the same. Pushu continues to hammer away at these minions and get that lane pushed right up towards this turret. And he's going to be looking for the second turret of the game. RNA will get the blue, to answer your question.
Yeah, he's going to have that blue buff away. We'll see whether he keeps on around. Remember, he did take the red buff as well. He may well go for an invade again here, which he looks like he is doing. Remember, he has the timing on that red buff, so he could just come around. Instead, they're going to start off the Dragon, getting straight in for it. They have 4 members all collapsing in towards it. Alternate going to take this one.
Yeah, can't see Fnatic getting in this one, but they've taken down the second turret of the game. We are just going to see heightened sensors being used there by Quinn, just to make sure that no one's actually hanging around inside of those brushes as they come down towards Dragon. And that's a great pickup in response to that tower that Fnatic take.
And this is actually going to be a red steal as well by Fnatic. They push that top lane right the way up to the inner turret. And Pushu now is going to take himself a red buff. We see that it is going to be J-Ree. J-Ree has been all across the map right now. I'm wondering how much that's going to hamper him. You can see he's already a level behind, hasn't got his ultimate just yet, so that wave is not going to be available, while you already see Yellowstar has that crescendo now, though he didn't take it at level 6.
Either that or he's not skilled it just yet, as we are going to see Peke actually going in here on towards Creaton, but guess what? Shen's on the map. You are in trouble now, Peke. There's the flash taunt. True Shot Barrage comes through. Kurt gets the kill.
Yeah, I don't think Yellowstar took that level 6. I'm trying to look at it myself. There it is.
Yeah.
He's just took the skill. He just hadn't taken it when he'd gone back. Okay, but nevertheless, that is a very good kill in the bottom lane. Sinar's going to be taking the red buff away. Creaton and Kerp should be able to push on towards this tower. They haven't really done a great deal of damage towards it. J-Ree's going to join them, but already Pushu and Yellowstar, they're going to react to this one. They're going to get back in time to clear out that wave. They have got Crescendo if they require it, if they try and do some sort of suicidal dive on towards them. And they do clear out the waves, so they continue to keep the pressure on. 2-0 in turrets for Fnatic. They are really doing a good job at pushing the lanes.
Yeah, Pusher and Yellowstar have been really impressive when it comes to that. I mean, making sure they stay together, keeping the damage high. As I said, that double buff that he got earlier on really helped in terms of the mid lane. The extra cooldown and mana regen for just spamming out those traps behind the turret here, and also those Piltover Peacemakers to clear the waves themselves onto the turret really helped things out. And so as he is actually going in on towards RNA, is going to pop the ultimate, flashes in. He's just about out of range. The Ignite is ticking. Is he going to survive? Yes, just about there. RNA gets away with about 35 health.
On a slither of health, and he manages to escape that one, but it's going to be a 3-man push in the bottom lane. You could say they're pushing it real good right now because they've got the Blood Boil in there on Pushu, and they're going to keep the pressure on towards that turret. And you can see they're going to got the ace in the hole. He's actually going to get blocked off by J-Ree. That's dangerous because Crescendo is still available. If they push back in for this one, I may see them go aggressive. Where is the top lane, though? The top lane is going to be a gank on towards White Knight. White Knight switching into Valor form, and he's just going to zip away. There's no way you can catch him.
No, you can't. That's the great thing about the split pushing with Quinn. You just can't catch him when he's that ultimate in there. It's a very difficult thing to do. You've got to have like boots of mobility and plus 10 with Blood Boil on. And probably use a flash to keep in anywhere sort of range. Right now, True Shot Barrage has been used by Creaton to stop this push on that tower. And as you said, Blood Boil for Caitlyn here is just a godsend for Pushu. Although he's losing out in his trade, Tidal Wave comes through. They're going to go down, but the Crescendo comes in, actually missing pretty much everyone. Here's the repel from Aranea into Pushu, who's barried up. Aranea's gone too deep here. He's going to go down. Pushu gets the kill. J-Ree has to flash away. Where's the snowball? You are not leaving. J-Ree's down. It's a double kill for Pushu.
Wow, that was a little bit too deep there. As you said, Aranea went diving in towards it, and that barrier bait that Pushu had seemed to work wonders. He's got to be really careful here, Creaton, because Ace in the Hole is up in a few moments, and if they can get a little bit of poke on towards him, follow it up with that Ace in the Hole, he will go down. But this is going to be the third turret, 3-0, unanswered for Fnatic now. And this is a very different game from what we saw in Moscow.
Right now, though, Alternate are going in for that outer turret in the mid lane. This could possibly be their first turret. They've got none up until now, and Peke is going to be the one to try and defend this one as he gets rid of those minions. White Knight just having a look there with Titan sensors to see if anyone was actually coming in from the sides. In the end, nobody there. He's just going to back away. But Peke has managed to keep that turret alive. That's the key point in that.
So, we've got a small break. Let's take a look at what exactly has been going on. Infinity Edge has been completed by Pusher already. That's pretty quick. 13 minutes gone into the game. Getting very aggressive on that one. It's going to have Berserker Greaves as well to follow that one up. Meanwhile, we see Blade of the Rune Kings being built by both White Knight and Creaton. They should be in there soon. Peke, of course, he went straight for the Brutalizer. We'll see whether he goes in straight for a Last Whisper or something to follow up with a bit of a penetration. But meanwhile, Soaz, he's gone for the standard. Oh, set up, and Pusher's got caught.
Yeah, he's safe from this one. Now, Shadow Dash already used, and he just uses the net to get himself back over to safety and actually back towards a little bit more farm here for him. He's a little bit ahead in terms of the farm compared to Ezreal, but it's the kills that really matter here from Pushu. That great barrier bait earlier on that got him the double in that bottom lane is really setting him ahead from Ezreal. Already got that Infinity Edge in there, which, again, to touch on it, because of the fight, oh, forget that, because they're diving in towards Creaton, but here comes Stan United once again. They're going to try and turn this one around. Here comes the ultimate out of Cyanide, and it does a ton of damage. Auto attack will actually finish off, and now they may have Kerp away. XPK going to go down. There is a slicing Maelstrom, and Kerp, he's a tanky fella, but he's not escaping against his Nunu. There comes the snowball. Soa's actually got the last hit before he could.
Really well played by Peke as well to get out of there, just using that living shadow to zip away, and now it's 5-2 for Fnatic. They are looking very strong, looking to try and go for 3-0 this weekend. Could it be the perfect weekend for them? We thought it may be for Gambit, but Lemon Dogs proved us otherwise. Oh, the wave is definitely not going to catch on towards them. They both step aside. It's one of the slowest moving, and with that Blood Boil, there was no way they're going to chase it up there. They are continuing to go towards Soaz. I'm not sure that's the right choice. He can just lightning surge away. Dances around the side. Is it going to be enough? Aaron Ayers going very deep for this one once again. He needs to try and sink it in. He does manage to get the Ignite down. Repels away, but look at this. White Knight's going to get caught. One more tower hit should be enough. Barrier just covers him up there. Peke throws out the shurikens. Not going to land it. He's going to continue chasing on one. He's going to have Living Shadow, but no, the Cocoon lands, and that stops him dead in his tracks. Still goes in. Aqua Prison comes out, gets one. Can he get a second? Oh, he stepped on a trap. He stepped on a trap, and that's Peke getting the kill and the assist, of course, going to Pushu, but Pushu's been taken in the top. It's a double kill in the top lane for Kerp.
Craziness all over the map here, and we've said it before, the Alternate really love this kind of play style where they are picking up kills here. The whole point is that they didn't lose them in the bottom lane as well, which unfortunately for them happened, and now Fnatic turn towards the Dragon. They've got a 5,000 lead already because of this objective control that they've had, and we are going to see Kerp coming in for this one. Cyanide surely can't mess this one up. He will actually get in there for the Dragon. He will die as part of the process, but they'll probably say worth it.
Yeah, they got the Dragon, so, well, I mean, once he shadow dashed across, he was pretty sure he was going to be dead, and Peke can just zip away from that one. So, let's take stock of the situation. It's a 5,000 gold lead for Fnatic. They are 4-0 open turrets. They've been continuing to push that top lane. They did take the inner turret, by the way, when them 2 kills came in. So, nevertheless, objective across the map have been working in Fnatic's favor, which is why they have that gold lead. They are 7-6 up in kills as well. Very much a much tighter control game for Fnatic compared to what it was in Moscow. And of course, if you remember rightly, Alternate had a big lead from the very first get-go. They had that, I think it was 3-1, 4-1, level 1 fight. Nothing of that sort happened in this match around, but it's still pretty crazy action. Peke and Soaz, they want the action. Meanwhile, we're seeing Pushu and Yellow Star. They're continuing to push on their own. They're back in the top lane. They're continuing to go for it.
And look at the CS difference there when you compare Kennen and Shen. 140 to 85 CS. Funnily enough, because of all Kerp's kills, he's only about 300 gold behind right now, which, and once we get to these team fights where Soaz is really going to start to excel, that little change could be different. Right now, if we look at Quinn versus Zed, XPK is a mile behind, but he's ahead in gold as well, currently sat at 2-1-3 in the kills. Between the AD carries, it's 6.7 thousand gold. And Soaz actually going to get caught out here. And White Knight going straight in there. There is the Absolute Zero cancelled out by the tidal wave coming in, and a bit of nothing happening there in that fight as the ultimates were cancelled out by each other. As Ace in the hole comes through as well. That was nicely blocked out by Kerp.
Yeah, Creaton was actually off to the side, hoping to get in there, and Soaz puts the damage down. Peke was also lingering. Peke continuing to split push, by the way. He's on this bottom inner turret. So while Fnatic are quite happy to take a little bit of a skirmish in this mid lane, they're starting to put the pressure on. They've got Jerry joining them in that bottom lane now. They're continuing. We have effectively Peke Cam. It's always been called that in the bottom lane there because he was always the man that was split pushing, and he's continuing. Look, he took that inner turret down to half health. They're pushing on the mid turret as well. The rest of Alternate, they're struggling to stop Fnatic in their tracks right now. This is what they do best.
This is what they do best, and it's often been said the best way to stop a split push is have a team that can split push yourselves, when they certainly have that in the form of Shen and Quinn, but can they actually get in there for the kills to actually split push? Can they get out of their inner circle, as it were, of these inner turrets? Right now, Fnatic are just poking away at Alternate as they stand by this middle inner turret. You can see Sona and Zed in the bottom left-hand side of your previous screen, they are just hanging around for that one. And that means that 2 men are down there from Alternate as well.
And because Yellow Star can just go off to the side, he can help out Peke because Cyanide is there. Cyanide on Nunu effectively as support as well. So he's not too worried about Pushu. Pushu's going to have that blood boil from Cyanide. He's better off being paired up with the jungler. So they have 2 fantastic split push lanes. And then they've got Kennen in the top lane who's just continuing to clear out the wave. So as, of course, a split pusher of his own, so effectively they're pushing all 3 lanes, and Alternate actually struggling to keep them back. This is almost similar, but they're diving on towards Kerp.
Yeah, there's a crescendo. That's going to just seal the kill for them here as that death mark is going to bring Kerp very, very low. Xpeke needs one more hit to finish him up, but the heal comes in from J-Ree, and now RNA are chasing them down. White Knight going to come flying around here as they lock down Xpeke, and they're going to get the kill onto him here as well. It is White Knight that secures that one, and RNA is still chasing here onto Yellow Star. Not going to be easy to get away from the Spider once that cocoon comes up, and Kerp, he wants a bit of the action from this one. Home guard sprints in, manages to lock him down. Yellow Star is a dead man, and that kill goes to Aranea.
Yeah, and also Cyanide and Pushu were coming down the river. They may get caught out here because Kerp has not given up yet. J-Ree comes around the side. They spotted him out with those wards, but they see them backing away. So Alternate doing a very good job at catching them out in those split push lanes. That is what they've got to do. But look at that at the top lane, though. Look what happened. Kraton's having to defend off minions on the inhibitor turret right now because Soaz continued to shove it all the way along that top lane while it's happening. RNA, this could be the first turret of the game for Alternate. He might be able to get it. I'm not too sure. Soaz is going to get there. He's going to have to back away.
Yeah, I don't think he can stand. He's got 3 levels ahead of Aranea at this point as well, so now just not in a position to really survive that one if Soaz went in. He's got a lot of AP already with that Nisilage riding. Good penetration as well, and he's going to get stunned up here in just a second. Soaz is going to land that one. Here comes the ultimate. Repel comes out, but he's not going anywhere. Xpeke comes in to finish the deal.
And that's the partnership that's always been strong for Fnatic. You get Peke and Soaz together, you need to run like hell because they are going to be coming to kill you. And sure enough, Aranea just stuck around too long. He's thinking he's just watched Dexter having an awesome, immaculate game on Elise. And now he's thinking, I can do that, but he hasn't got the same build yet. He's only just got the Haunting Guys in there, hasn't got the Sorcerer's Boots either, so hasn't got the damage potential. By now, it's 21 minutes into the game. He hasn't really got enough to go for it. But Fnatic, they're continuing to drive on. They're going to go for Kerp.
They are going to get on Kerp, and he's the tanky man in this lineup. He has to be able to survive, and to be honest, he's got masses of AD attack damage coming out from Xpeke. He's got magic damage coming out from Soaz. You can't really defend against all of it. They managed to kill him right under the turret. Xpeke having to flash there. He'd taken too many turret hits, and there is the middle inner turret as well. So now it took them a good 5 minutes probably for Fnatic to do that, but they've managed to get it down, and it's not a race to win games. You've just got to do it.
Yeah, that's 2 inner turrets going down, all 3 of them actually, to be fair, because they took that top one down as well. Aranea coming back in. He's got to be careful. He caught with that Night Caliber net. Does manage to get the cocoon in there. He's got Kraton backing him up, fighting for that blue buff. And it's going to go to Kraton. We'll see how that works out. But honestly, Alternate just seem a little too slow to react to Fnatic there. Double split push that they've got going on of Soaz and Peke, this is always a problem. But the fact that they've got that mid lane combo as well of Cyanide matching with Pushu, I nearly went in a wrong direction there with his name. But nevertheless, they are going to push on towards the middle. Can they get a turret? No, they can't, because Fnatic are there to react. And look at the damage on Kraton. Half his health going down just with 2 little hits from Soaz.
And Soaz has got that Zhonya's Hourglass now finished, which is going to be even more of a problem when it comes to Alternate actually taking down a group of Fnatic players. Kerp here and Xpeke, that should be just a bit of face bashing and 2 ninjas here.
I believe this is what we saw at All-Stars going on in the cosplay.
Yeah, exactly.
It was Shed versus Zed.
I can't remember how that one actually ended.
Who wins out? Of course, it was Zed that betrayed Shen in the first place. But Peke, you're going the wrong direction. It's just like, I don't care about fighting you. I'm just going to keep pushing your top lane.
And this is another combo that they really fits this Fnatic combo really well. Wow, that's going to be a lot of damage coming down actually on towards Pushu. He's actually going to have to flash away with Kraton off towards the side. Shen actually going to get involved with this one. There's a crescendo coming out, but at the top side, Soaz is running his ulti. Pushu is dead. Kraton will take that red buff, and he's not finished now. He's still going in. Soaz has been locked up, finished off by J-Ree. White Knight's going to pop his ulti and say, not today, I'm out of here. And a double kill lands for Kraton. That's 3 down here for Fnatic.
Really well played there. They realized that Peke was still low. He'd used his ultimate in the top lane, and he just wasn't able to do it. Kurt went back, got on the fountain, got his home guards ready. Stan United, they went full aggression, worked out for them, got 3 kills off the back of that. Very well played. It's 9-11 in kills right now, and that's 6,000 gold difference. For the first time, the alternate are going to take down their first turret. Are they starting to come into this game? They're starting to stretch advantages. Big wave on the bottom. Alternate going to swing straight down there and get the second turret. That's going to bring the gold a little bit more in their favor. So maybe they are not done and dusted just yet.
No, I don't think they are here either. I mean, they're just getting stronger at this point. This Shen starting to become not unkillable, because we've already seen him die there, but you know, if Peke with a full combo can't take him out, then he should be decently safe when it comes to the rest of these fights. There is that second turret going down, by the way. It leaves us with 5,000 or 5,500 or 4,500. We'll get there in the end.
Maths is hard.
Maths is very, very hard for me, that's for sure. Jerry actually coming up to this top lane now. I'll see if they can lock Xpeke up with Aqua Prison. Top
Low
mid
turret.
units there coming in. Yeah, the turret's too low. He can't stick around for that. Actually, Cretan going offensive there with the arcane shift. And in the end, they're going to have to back away because Nunu's trudging up the river.
Yeah, he's plodding his way up there. It's going to be the ultimate. He's going to catch on towards it. The death mark is on Creton, but he's covered off. Brilliant Aqua Prison from Jerry once again there. Creton will get the arcane shift back available. Oh, but instead he's going to try and use his ultimate True Shot Barrage and just sets himself there for Peke to come in. But the rest of alternate reacting to this one, Joe, they're going for it.
Soaz needs to pop his ultimate there and then drop that Zhonya's right now. He's actually backing away, which tells me Zhonya's still not off cooldown from that last encounter. And in the end, they just decide, you know what, let's not fight this one. It's Peke a double buffs on Pushu. He's pushing the middle lane out. I feel like we've said the word push about 4,000 times in these last 25 minutes, but he has done this fantastically well. He's forcing the entire alternate team now to actually come back. Nunu's going to give him that blood boil. This is an inhibitor turret down.
Yeah, he's really good at it. He's just managed to take it down again. No, he's left it.
Oh.
Why did you stop? Arenair's going to get caught out, though. He tries to repel. Is it going to be enough? Oh, there's going to be slowed down. Peltover catches him out there. Pushu with another shot. The inhibitor turret did go down as well. So it's 11-11 in kills, but it's 7-3 in turrets. Fnatic with big advantages now over alternate. Can they get their perfect score for this weekend?
It's still not a done deal in this one, but the way the plan is working for Fnatic right now, they're getting these turrets slowly but surely. They're losing a few kills, which you're inevitably gonna lose if you're so focused on pushing, you know, in single units to do that split push. So as again, pushing up the bottom lane, forcing Shen to come down the bottom. And if we look down some of the items, because we've not done that for a while, Blade of the Ruin King, Last Whisper in there with Warden's Mail, and Brutalizer right now for Zed. On the other side, Quinn also got that Blade of the Ruin King. Gonna be moving up towards the Infinity Edge here next. The AD carries though, we already have Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, gonna be a Bloodthirster next by the looks of it for Caitlyn. And on the other side, now most of that blue edge reel coming into play for Cretan.
Yeah, and you touched on it earlier, the CS advantage has been growing in the top lane between Soaz and Kerp. It's still there, 213 to 141 now. Soaz continuing to just farm massively for Fnatic. Every chance he gets, he's completely clearing those waves out. We do see down the bottom, Kerp is a long way out, and Peke's actually going to go aggressive for this one. He still fancies a bit of this, and we can see the fact that also coming down the bottom lane, they're coming down the river, he's going to join him. He's going to use Stan United, goes to the top. Thank you very much, I'm safe.
Yeah, straight away out of there. And that's the sad thing from Xpeke. Not got anything to interrupt that one. Stop that Stan United actually coming in. Look at this though. Cyanide right now trying to take away this blue buff, and he's not going to try. He's going to be Nunu, and he's going to take that away. Actually using his smite there in the end just to finish that one off. Another little bit of a bonus for Fnatic.
So, in terms of gold, they're keeping that lead. It is only 6,000. It was building to be much bigger, so alternate managing to just drag themselves screaming and kicking into this one, closing in towards the 30-minute gap. We did have a very fast game a moment ago. This is the 4th game of the day. Still 2 more to come. Remember, it is a 6-game day. And it is really starting to set the standings aside right now as alternate still top of the board. 8-3 right now. Can they go 9-3? Or I believe they may be 9-3 already. Can they go 10-3? I think they are 9-3 because they won the game this morning. And maybe, right, yes they are. Can they go 10-3? That is the question. Or will they fall behind? Gambit 8-5 right now as well in the league. So it is still very, very tight between really everyone in the league. Despite the fact it is SK Gaming down the bottom there, 4-9 I believe right now. they're still nowhere near out of this one. It's still very much all up for grabs with 5 game weeks to go. Overall, it's going to be the same amount of matches played throughout the season. It's looking like it's going to be a first Dragon of the game for Alternate here.
They are hanging around for that one, and they will be able to take this. No one from Fnatic going to get remotely close to that one at this stage of the game. It's easy pickings, that Dragon. Fnatic now just setting themselves up where they'll inevitably, I guess, head off into a lane apiece and start that whole split push machine going through once again and see what they can come out with at the end of the day. And it is going to be XPK going down to bottom. He's just going to force that one up there. I mean, there's nothing outside of the base walls right now here for Alternate, and with that considered, they're actually doing well in terms of keeping a grasp on the map. They're not, you know, sitting back on their base. They're not sitting on the steps and hoping that Fnatic don't take a Baron or take away their vision so that they're forced to come out. They're keeping a fairly forward line here to make sure that they don't give up map control.
Yeah, they've cleared all the waves up to around about the mid lane and just happily backed away again. They've got good wall placement around their jungle, so they're not going to get caught by surprise by these split pushes. We do see Peke in that bottom wave, so he's going to have to be dealt with. It's actually going to be Kraton once again that goes down there, so they're feeling that he is in a position to actually fend off and clear those waves quick enough. Needs the farm as well, and he's probably looking like a Guardian Angel maybe coming out fourth item, sorry, for Kraton. Yeah, let's start just with that Oracle, clearing out the wards, all been put around that Baron. I would be surprised to see Fnatic going for the Baron in a few moments. I think they're going to keep that split push momentum going.
Yeah, and we've not really seen a full-on team fight that's, you know, been fought to the death here.
I know nothing.
Well, Fnatic are going to start off. I'm not sure if they're going to hang around to finish this thing right now, as we do see the repel coming out there, and that will force Cyanide to back off somewhat. He goes back in, has another chomp on it with the consume.
Heavy there.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of health from that one right now, and Alternate will be happy with the fact that, you know, Cyanide is fairly low, as we are going to see Crescendo coming down. That's a dead Aranea, as Soaz gets himself forward. We see the ace in the hole coming through on towards Creaton. The Nami wave comes out. Soaz is going to use his Zhonya's Hourglass here. That's a great Rune Prison. White Knight is right in the middle of him as well. It doesn't need to be right in there, though. He's going to be dropped from this one. Jerry is going to try his best to juke away with that flash. Kerp is somehow escaping as well here off to the bottom side. I'm not sure really why Fnatic are chasing rather than pushing in to take that inhibitor. But at the same time, this could be a genius move, because Soaz, if he can keep Kerp alive here, he stops him getting back to defend. Jerry will get back from this one, but Soaz is just going to auto-attack him so that if he dies to a turret, he gets the kill from it anyway.
Yeah, he's not too worried about it. He's not going to get the kill,
but it doesn't matter.
But that's the inhibitor going down, but absolute brilliant play by Peke there. So they went around, they managed to use the standing area, they shadow dashed across, caught 3 members, actually. I think one of them there was Soaz was in as Zhonya's Hourglass, so he wasn't really caught out. But nevertheless, Kraton and White Knight were starting at the back like, yeah, okay, we can sit back as artillery. Oh, holy hell. Zed's come around, Peke comes around and absolutely massacred them at the back. So they just had to turn around to deal with him. So while the tanks had gone in to try and take the front load, they just got slaughtered as well. So very well played by Fnatic, very tactically astute play, and Peke doing what you have to do on Zed, just getting in there and absolutely destroying the AD carries.
Yeah, that's the hard thing to really manage about him, because you do lose sight of him for that split second until you realize, he's going for Ezreal, which you probably expect to happen anyway with that Zed coming in. Quinn obviously was right in the middle of the fight while that was all happening as well, which is probably not the position that White Knight wanted, looking back on how it went for him. Let's have a look down some of the items coming in. He does now have that Infinity Edge, does Quinn, and has also got that Zeal being picked up in there as well. See if he goes Phantom Dancer or off towards a Shiv, which might help them when it comes to, you know, trying to split push. I'm not sure that they're going to get to a stage where they can really do that successfully, being in the position that they are right now. We got the Black Cleaver actually finished on Zed as well.
I think I saw some 1,400 crits coming out from Pushu there, so
yes,
he is doing some serious damage. Once he gets that Phantom Dancer, or we could go for the Static Shiver. Either way, I would expect the Phantom Dancer to come out from Pushu next. And, well, he is going to be doing a lot of damage, that's for sure. And Peke is going to steal away the blue buff, and Fnatic starting to take away all the objectives. Oh, Aranea, you are out of position, son. He's going to try and repel, but I'm not too sure he's going to go away with it. Yes, he will. The Ice Blast catches on, but just like that, shimmies away and straddles into the corner. He's going to be Peke chased upon, but he's a slippery sucker. You can't catch him down. And Aranea went back in there. Ace in the hole comes out, Ice Blast. Now he's going to get stunned up. This time he will go down, trying to make something of nothing, and it wasn't there to be had in the first place. Fnatic picked themselves up an easy kill.
The other style's going forward. He wants a crescendo. Actually, Ezreal did arcane shift over the wall. Xpeke is actually pushing this top wave through. They could have the top inhibitor turret here if Alternate aren't careful about things. They've got they've got Kerp actually pushing the bottom lane out right now, but Fnatic, they're going to tank this turret up as much as they can here to get that one started. Blood Boil on Pushu, that turret going to be shredded down, and that will be the second inhibitor of the game going down here.
Yeah, easy stuff for Fnatic here. Once they caught Aranea, they knew that really a 4v5 was never going to get defended, and Fnatic just push on through. So that's the second inhib down now. The middle one will be respawning shortly, but Soaz is going to go in and slicing Maelstrom, catching on towards White Knight. There's going to be a Stan United coming out, but immediately followed by a crescendo. It has going to be Soaz going down. Is it going to be enough, though? Peke taken very low as well. Alternate have just about defended this one. The fact that they lost the members managed to keep Fnatic back for now, but it's only a matter of time, I feel.
Look how many wards Fnatic have got down in the jungle right now. They can literally see everything that's going on in there. It's pretty crazy stuff, and there's not much that Alternate can do about that apart from send Jerry out and hope that they don't get caught in, a nasty position like this right here. Peke waiting in and actually just throws out the shadow. Not quite doing it. And Alternate are going for a desperation Baron here. The funny thing is about this, though, it might actually go decently for them as Peke going to explode Creatine. That's a lot of their damage now gone down. Nunu's coming in from the side. Pushu's going to get the Blood Boil, and they might decide to just go straight up the middle with this one or lock them down as Peke comes in from the side. Actually didn't connect there. Well, they're still going to go in. Aranea is actually going to come dropping down on top of the Golems back to the safety of his team, but Peke's not done just yet. He's still coming in from the side. Bit of damage on towards Jerry. Nunu is now up there with him, but look at Pushu. He's going straight through this middle lane. He's going towards those Nexus turrets.
He's got super minions with him as well, so he's going to wipe out that wave. He's going to get on there. The rest of Alternate finally have managed to get their position place, but as soon as that Blood Boil gets on him, you can see already working down that Nexus turret, putting damage on towards Aranea, forces him back, puts the trap down. Kerp comes out with the home guard boots, but he's not going to be really enough. White Knight comes out. He's sent straight back in towards the fountain, and Fnatic starting to take a half the hit points off that bottom Nexus turret already. They're working it down. They're going to have another wave of super minions coming in. Top Nexus turret goes down, middle to the bottom Nexus turret goes down. They're on towards the Nexus. Fnatic should be able to close this one out. White Knight goes aggressive. Has he got enough to get the kill? Yes, he has, but he turns straight back around. Creaton's going to get taken very low. Aranea going to come in. They're doing everything they can to stop them, but the super minions are on there. Pushu is on towards the Nexus. He's just taking it down off the top of the screen. You can't see it, but he's working it down nevertheless. He's managed to get the Nexus down. Fantastic play. Fnatic have a perfect week and go 3-0, getting revenge over Alternate.
Really amazing performance there from Fnatic. A complete contrast to what we saw in Moscow. That crazy, crazy match which Alternate won out on. This one was controlled. They had a very strict plan coming into this one, Fnatic. They were up against the Shen, the Quinn, the likes of the champions you'd be expecting to be split pushing against them, but Fnatic never gave them the chance. They were constantly keeping those lanes pushed out. The Blood Boil with Caitlyn, I mean, it all really started, if we go right back towards that level 1 time where, they put the AD carrying support in that middle lane. They got that double buff from the first blood, from taking down Aranea. Pushu just use that to litter traps around that middle outer turret, and then just throw Piltover Peacemaker out one after another at the minions until they could get that outer tower down. Then he went to the top, then they went to the bottom, and it was just a systematic destruction from Fnatic.
And you just got to realize, I mean, like you said, the fact that Soaz and Peke are always together. They'll go off, they'll push a lane. That is what Fnatic do, and that's what they do best. They will assassinate you if you go near them. They will attack and go aggressive on you. Otherwise, they'll continue to split push. While that's all happening, Pushu, like you said, he was just pushing the lanes every time. Cyanide comes along, drive-by, Blood Boil, walks back off again. He's got help support. He just continued on driving. And Alternate didn't really have a response to that. Aranea was trying early, went a little bit too deep a few times, which you can do. Obviously, you can repel, you go aggressive. The rest of the team don't back you up. You're just going to get left hanging.
And that's the reason why Nunu is so strong.
That's why he's so banned all the time.
He's so banned. He's just always banned. He's just always banned because, not only is he got fantastic clear times, he's basically got a second smite on him. That Blood Boil plus combined with the snowballs, which is going to completely destroy the enemy AD carry as well. Like, just those two things, we saw how much of an effect it has. Pushu was taking down towers probably twice as fast as he would have been if that was a different champion in the jungle with him there. And the setup for Fnatic just coming through. We heard from, I actually talked to RNA last night about Nunu, and he said we let Cyanide have it last time, and we'll probably let him have it again today because we're not very scared of it. But
maybe
Fnatic used it perfectly this time.
Yeah, and of course, Kerp had Shen, so they had a lot of the champions they were happy with. They didn't have the mid lane. It'd be hard to blame him, but honestly, Quinn, again, not impressed. Not impressed. No matter who plays it, just haven't seemed to worked out very well. But Joe, you know, I hate to stir the pot and get the Reddit threads going, but this could be the last time we cast together.
Oh, it may very well be.
It could. I mean, there's nothing scheduled.
I know. This could very well have been your final taste of us, maybe, possibly. Who knows? We'll let you know next time we're casting together.
Yeah, so anyway, nevertheless, we're going to go across to an interview with Shox.
Not Shox, but all right, I'll go with that. She's pretty attractive. But anyways, why you gotta stir the pot? Why you gotta make everyone think that's the last time you two were casting? You know what's gonna happen again in the future. But anyways, we are here to actually analyze the last couple of games we did see. We're gonna start off with Lemondogs versus Gambit, and to be honest, there's really not much to say about that game. It was very snowbally. You even heard, you know, Dexter talking about after the game that once Elise gets 1 or 2 kills, she gets really strong. She gets really snowbally, and that's exactly what happened. He started off with 2 kills, and you know, about 15 minutes in, they had an 8,000 gold lead. They were up, actually Dexter was at 5-0-2, and that kind of shows you that he took that first kill, he got onto Rise, snowballed it really hard, really quickly, and I mean, with Darien kind of overextending a little bit here and there, he ended up actually going 1-6 in the end of that game. He couldn't really do too much, and he ended up just not really helping. I mean, Gambit went for more of a late game kind of composition where Lemondogs wanted to get in very early and try to get the kills for you, but we're gonna get a replay showing you really soon. It's just kind of one of the fights that really ended the game. I mean, it was pretty much just giving it over to Lemondogs, already up 9-1, 17.5 minutes in. It's 30,000 gold to 20,000 gold, and honestly, not many teams can really say they're this far ahead of Gambit at this point in the game. So let's get the replay going, just to kind of show you exactly what happens. Is, you know, Lemondogs, they kind of go for a Baron, they fake it out, they actually catch a Diamond here, doesn't really expect he's in a ward. He's gonna end up getting killed here as Zora Zero, already so strong at this point, just sits in the middle of Alex, blows him up. And this is the Alex yesterday who played Rise and actually dominated the entire game. They ended up picking the kills up left and right, getting, I believe it was a 3 for, actually it was, in the end it was a 4 for 0, because Darren did die down in the bottom lane, and that was the nail in the coffin, to be honest. 13-1, how do you really come back from that? And I guess that's really to wrap up the entire game there, but in the last game we just saw, Fnatic versus Alternate, that was one of the closest matches I've actually seen between those two teams in terms of exactly what happened. So we started off with a 2v1 actually happened middle against Quim. They wanted to shut White Knight down. They saw him yesterday versus Gambit where he unfortunately didn't do too well, but obviously in the game earlier on today he did a lot better. So that happened, but then the game kind of got a little bit one-sided over for Alternate because Cyanide, he tried to invade. He tried to take away that blue buff at level 2, I believe he was, and he got denied. And because of that, RNA decided to invade. He tried to go for red buff, ended up feeding a double kill, or not a double kill, double buffs over to Pushu over in middle, so it kind of really tipped the favors back and forth. It was kind of like a game of throws, but not necessarily at that point, so Fnatic just kept on going at it. And the thing was, they kept making Alternate look one way and then attack them somewhere else. So they pulled Alternate like down to bottom, then they would attack top, pick up a couple of kills, push the turrets constantly, and not to mention, every time RNA someone overextended, they were always there, always able to pick up the kills. We actually do have a replay for you. It's one of the later fights in the game, and it actually kind of gave Fnatic a little bit of an edge. They needed to finish off the game. So we do see RNA over here. He's gonna get caught pretty much right off the bat and die. The thing is, Alternate, they're still gonna go for a 4-man engage. So let's start the replay up and just show you guys it kind of develops. So RNA, he's dead. Like, there's no way he's gonna escape from a one-man crescendo. But the thing is, you're gonna see Shen taunt. We're actually gonna pause here for a split second. Shen's gonna come in over towards this top side. He's gonna ulti in, and he's gonna get a 3-man taunt right in this area. And White Knight, he kind of overextends right into here, and we can start the replay up. And it was a little bit of mispositioning. I'm not sure if it was like on accident or not, because he goes in really far, really deep, and he's thinking, with that Aqua Prison, I could probably pick up a couple of kills here. But unfortunately, he gets stunned down, he gets locked down, completely blown up, and in the end, that was a 4 for 0, even though Kurt did die to a turret. That's it for that replay, but you know, Fnatic, they really handed it to SK. They really brought it down to the brink in the end. They really wanted to show them that we can beat you, as they unfortunately lost them back in Russia. But that's about it for the analysis of these two games. But I believe we're heading over to Shox with an interview with SOAS.
Thank you very much, Jason. I'm joined here by SOAS, who had another fantastic game. This time on Kennen, talk us a little bit through picks and bans. They had, you guys had a Nunu who's been banned tons of times before this, and they had a Quinn, which you don't see that often. What did they both have impact on the game?
The thing is, well, we didn't ban any really OP champion, we just banned their champion, and we knew that we will have one, but they will have two, and we knew we will pick like Nunu first over Elise or Shen, and they just picked the two others. So yeah, the first like picks and second picks we knew already what they would do.
You didn't really suffer from the Quinn pick on their end?
PK just like say, yeah, just go mid. They have Elise and Queen, and if you just push the turret really fast, they cannot unpush. So PK just went bottom, and they took mid turret really fast. And I was on top. I didn't have ward at wards, and I was like, if Elise gank me, they're gonna get mid turret, so it's still worth it. And even though I died top once against Shen, it's Kellen matchup versus Shen. Even if I die, I will still dominate him, so I don't care. So yeah, it was just like fast push the 3 first turrets, then snowball the game.
Yeah, you guys were never really worried, even though they picked up kills. You were always ahead in gold and turrets.
At some point, it was a bit messy. I was like doing some calls, and PK was saying like, no, like I wanna kill Shen, and it was a bit messy, but it worked fine.
Now about the report card for Fnatic after the change in your lineup, you have all the victories. What is your personal feeling about the change now and how it pans out in that bot lane?
I think like the bot lane, the laning phase of our bot lane right now is stronger than the bot lane which was with Enrated and Yellow. They are stronger in laning phase, but the fights are still a bit messy, and Puzu never ever played in a real team before, so he don't have any experience. So I think I said before, in few days we'll be stronger. Next week we'll be much stronger than this week.
All right, you are already very strong this week, so we're going to be looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Soaz. Now, Meet Your Makers started at the top of the pack, but have since crumbled a little. Can the Polish powerhouse get back in the saddle by taking down SK Gaming? Don't go anywhere.